video. I hope you're having an amazing day. If not, I hope you start having an amazing day from right now. In my previous two videos, I talked about what are root causes of chronic fatigue syndrome. And what I talked about is how different traumas can cause over time, without being properly dealt with, can cause issues with the brain, with the nervous system, and in a combination with a hibernating virus, or a virus that works, behind the scenes in some part of your body, in some organ, how these things, when combined together, can cause chronic fatigue syndrome. And with my first video about trauma, I truly hope that it came across that I don't just mean a huge life-changing event that is maybe physically traumatic, or in general a huge impactful experience or abuse. It can be a minor thing, as minor as, let's say, if you're a twin, and while you and your twin were in the womb, let's say your sibling was the more dominant twin, and they managed to take more nutrients from the mom than you did. And when you were born, you were the twin that was a little bit weaker and more frail. And, doctors maybe didn't notice that, or they didn't even know it at all. Or if they knew it, they weren't able to treat it properly. And as you're growing up, that trauma that you experienced in the womb, and with not being treated properly, or maybe it's not even known how something like this would be treated when you're an infant, it accumulates over time. And when you're a child, let's say, you start experiencing things and symptoms that are similar to chronic fatigue syndrome or some other chronic illness. So this is a form of trauma, but it is not a obvious form of trauma, because let's say you were quote unquote a healthy kid and no one really noticed that you struggled with this issue from literally the time that you were a fetus. That is just one example. Basically anything can be trauma for anyone. Anything that is trauma for you is a valid form of trauma for you. And we're all going to react to different things in different ways. We all have our own sensitivities and our own issues, and no one is more weak or better or worse than anyone else for having something that they are more sensitive to. It is just how the cards were dealt in this particular life that you're living, and it doesn't make you more sensitive. This is just your life. You're not worse than anyone else who maybe went through a more traumatic trauma than what you went through, but they are healthy and they managed to push through and to be fine. And here you are having chronic fatigue syndrome. You're not weaker. This is just something that you were more prone to. So I think the lifestyle part and the energetic disbalances of our society and how unhuman friendly it is pretty self-explanatory. Maybe it's not, maybe I'm overestimating how many not everyone thinks about these things the same way. So I think that can be a topic that we can talk about more in the future, because it doesn't just relate to chronic fatigue syndrome. I think everyone, healthy or unhealthy, um, suffers some amount because of how our world works. And that is just the part of being human and figuring out how to live your best life. So, I think we will circle back to this topic some other time. But today we're going to focus on the more medical part. And like I said, another root cause of chronic fatigue syndrome is viruses, bacteria, parasites, fungi, etc., etc., etc. So, building up your immune system, healing your brain, and freeing yourself from inflammations is the main goal. Because when we do this, when we also raise the energy levels in the body can finally start to heal itself. And this list of supplements that I'm going to talk about is going to be very long. And a lot of people who suffer with chronic fatigue syndrome would actually benefit from taking all of these supplements. And taking supplements is also kind of a controversial thing, because it's not natural to take all of these powders and things like that. But when you're unhealthy and you need help, you don't really have too much of a choice. But I will talk in some of my future videos about natural herb medicines that can help. So right now, let's talk about supplementation. Huge and very, very important disclaimer that I have to make. Number one, I am not a medical professional of any kind. I am not a doctor, nor do I claim to be. I just have experience with this illness, and that is why I'm talking about it. My goal is not to tell you to take these supplements. I am not giving you a list of what you need to drink to be healthy. I am giving you a list of things to be aware of, what different supplements do, what they help you with, and just to know your options. If you're interested in taking any or all of these supplements, please, please, please do lab work, do schedule a consultation with some doctor or whatever. Yes, I have talked about how doctors are not very educated on this topic, but I definitely don't encourage you to take this into your own hand. Even if you are very knowledgeable about supplements and things like that, you don't know what you are deficient in or what you have more of in your system unless you do the test. So, please, basically what I'm saying is, don't blame me. I am just giving you information, okay? I'm just giving you information. I'm not giving you instructions. That is my disclaimer. Thank you. Please be responsible with your health and don't blame me. Thank you. Okay, so let's start with the list of supplements. The first one is coenzyme Q10. This helps with cellular energy, oxidative stress, with fatigue, and with inflammation. So anything that can help you with your energy levels and with your mitochondrial functions is very important. Any supplementations that help with the health of your brain are crucial, and anything that can help with the health of your brain and clearing brain fog, clearing and calming the nervous system, feeding the cells, strengthening the membrane of your cells, etc. And mitochondria is extremely important. The next supplement is NADH, and it helps with ATP production, with brain energy metabolism, and with mental fatigue. So again, it's pretty self-explanatory. It is energizing the brain and clearing brain fog. The next supplement is acetyl L-carnitine, and it helps with energy metabolism, with fatigue, and with brain fog. Again, self-explanatory. The next one would be the ribose, which helps with ATP regeneration, muscle energy, and exercise recovery. This is pretty important because, as you know, with chronic fatigue syndrome, it is not that you're just mentally tired, you are physically unable to move. So even though you're not doing anything, your body is wasting energy as if you were a pro athlete. So anything that will help rejuvenate your muscles, that will help boost your recovery time, is essential for a helped recovery, speeding the recovery process. The next one would be alpha lipoic acid, and it helps with mitochondrial function, with antioxidant defense, and with nerve function, and of course anything that helps with the nerves is crucial. The next thing is nutrient deficiency support. So vitamin B12 is very important for nerve health and for just the energy, metabolic energy, and it's helpful for brain fog. And so many people are deficient in B12, particularly if you're eating plant-based, you could be deficient in B12. Next, again, very crucial, vitamin D. It helps with immune function, it helps with muscle strength, and it helps with mood. So anything that helps with the immune system is very helpful in the supportive process of if you're taking antibiotics or some other type of medication that is supposed to help you get rid of the toxins, the viruses, the bacteria, etc. That is inflaming your organs, particularly the brain. So anything that raises the immune system and that can help you flush out all of the toxins is very important. Also anything that boosts your gut health, so probiotics are very important, and it is essential that you take probiotics that have a lot of different components to them that will introduce a lot of different bacterial flora to your gut, and that you don't just use one type of probiotic, but you mix and match so that you constantly have a new set of bacterial flora to boost and help with your gut health, because people who suffer with chronic fatigue syndrome very often have issues with gut health. Another important vitamin to take is magnesium, and magnesium is so vastly important both for raising your energy levels and calming you down and helping you go to sleep. So, with all of these supplements, unfortunately, you can't take just the basic pill, the basic doses that uh, you can find for cheap in um, your uh, your local supermarket, but like very professional, like high quality products. So, for example, you can't just take basic magnesium. You would benefit from using magnesium malate, which is a type of magnesium that helps you when going to sleep to lower your sympathetic nervous system, to calm you down and to essentially help you fall asleep and to have a higher quality sleep. And then we have iron for people who are deficient in iron, and that is hugely important because iron helps with transportation of oxygen through the blood. It helps with energy level. It helps with brain function. It helps with um, being stable and awake and energized and basically functioning properly. Then we have antioxidants such as selenium or zinc, and they help with antioxidant defense, with immune system regulation, with fatigue, with inflammation reduction, and with metabolism. Two very important supplements. Then we have turmeric extract, which helps again with inflammation, with pain, with brain fog. Another very important one is omega-3 fatty acids, because they help strengthen the membrane of the cell, and the membrane of the cell is very attacked with this issue when you have chronic fatigue syndrome. Also, if you eat too much sugar, sugar eats away at this membrane of the cell, so it's a good thing to know as well. It helps with inflammation, with brain health, and with cardiovascular support. Then we have things like ginkgo biloba, which help with memory, with blood flow to the brain, and cognitive clarity. Then, because chronic fatigue syndrome is so tied with insomnia and low quality sleep, struggling to fall asleep, struggling to stay asleep once you do fall asleep, struggling with waking up in the middle of the night and then falling asleep again, and just in general having a good sleep cycle. Taking melatonin is helpful for some people, but it can cause you to be a little bit out of it. It doesn't feel as natural, so a good alternative to that would be glycine. Okay, so my camera gave up on me, and I don't care. I am determined to finish filming this video today, so I'm sorry for the sudden drop in quality, but I'm filming this today. I am determined. Not like my video was that high quality anyway. You don't really see anything, and it's not a very interesting visual, so I hope you don't mind. Let's continue where we left off. So, glycine is a good alternative to melatonin. Why? Because it naturally occurs in the body. The body creates glycine. Taking it as a supplement doesn't stop the natural production. It just boosts it and helps you fall asleep and not wake up in the middle of the night. Of course, not everyone reacts to it the same, but I have seen a lot of positive reviews for it, and that people report having better quality sleep. However, a thing to note is that taking glycine, the effects, the positive effects of it stop once you stop taking it. So it's not something that builds in your body over time and then raises some levels in your body. No, it just is boosting what you already have naturally. But the important thing is that you are so tired and so rest deprived that having a period of time where you are constantly able to predictably fall asleep and stay asleep can help train your brain to realize that this is something that it can do itself. So the idea is to help remind your brain that it is able to fall asleep and stay asleep and that this is a safe thing to do. So if you are not a fan of melatonin, you can look into glycine. And another one that helps with sleep can be ashwagandha. Some people do report that it raises their energy, others report that it lowers their energy and makes them sleepy. Some say it depends on whether you take it in the morning or at night, and it is meant to help with cortisol regulation, with anxiety, and with sleep. So you could try and you can try and take this supplement and see how you react to it and whether it is something that works for you. Again, with all of these things, consult your doctor or, do things at your own risk. Another one that is that goes kind of hand in hand with the topic of ashwagandha is Rhodiola rosea, and it helps with raising your energy levels. So it helps with stress resilience, with fatigue, and with mental performance. Then we have something that I think is something that is not that well known to me, but it's supposed to be a very strong natural antioxidant, is ast astaxanthin. Astaxanthin. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But it's supposed to protect the membrane of the cell and the mitochondria, so it reduces oxidative damage that is linked with chronic fatigue syndrome. So it's supposed to be a very beneficial supplement. Something that might not come to your mind when we're talking about chronic fatigue syndrome, but can be very helpful, is taking creatine and or protein, particularly creatine, because it is a compound that is stored in the muscles and the brain, and it helps you regenerate, and it doesn't just help your muscles to grow, but it supports them. It prevents your muscles wasting away. Um, when you are when your body is using up so much energy um, to help you stay alive, essentially to help you fight through chronic fatigue syndrome, it takes your body a lot of power to help maintain muscle mass. So the first thing that your body will sacrifice when it's going through a rough patch and it doesn't have enough energy is it will sacrifice muscle, because muscle is uh, it requires a lot of energy. So even for a healthy person, if you have ever tried to put on muscle and lose weight, you'll know that you have to take in much more protein and work at your muscles much more. Um, if you decide to go into a calorie deficit because your body won't first start getting rid of fat, because fat is not that hard to maintain, but it will first get rid of muscle. So for anyone who is bulking and cutting, you know what I'm talking about, but the same principle applies when you're not healthy. So that's why taking creatine makes sense. Also taking protein as well makes sense, even though you're not a gym goer. But for chronic fatigue syndrome, basically living your life is going to the gym. Like, it takes even more energy. Then another very crucial thing is taking vitamin C. But just like magnesium, it's not enough to take a basic vitamin C. What I would recommend is liposomal vitamin C or ester C, because in these forms, vitamin C is kind of like a fat particle. So it's not as acidic and it's not harsh on your stomach, which is very important when you have gut issues, with which usually do come with chronic fatigue syndrome. So it's very helpful to uh, energize your cell, to enter your cells without hurting your stomach. It's a much higher percentage of absorption than regular vitamin C, and this way you have better delivery of the vitamin C into your immune system. But again, these things are more expensive, which is unfortunate. If you don't have, money. What I heard is to have like the fastest recovery and to essentially deal with this illness most effectively, you would need anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 monthly to take care of all of the supplements and all of the treatments to heal, within a few months to a year, or even more than that. So it takes literally for you to be like a millionaire to do it very quickly. But the good news is that you don't have to be rich to heal, but it just takes more time, and it takes a lot more of relying on taking the baby steps and using your brain power to overcome things in combination with actually healing and helping your immune system to build itself back up, to help your energy levels replenish and to actually have also a physical reaction, a physical step to healing, not just the mental component. It has to be both at the same time for you to heal. But again, like I said, it is possible. It just takes more time and, well, more effort, unfortunately. But I really don't want you to be discouraged and to think that it is hopeless for you if you're not um, rich or financially in a beneficial situation. Then, continuing with the supplements, we have lysine, and it helps with your immune system, to produce antibodies and enzymes. So it's very helpful with fighting these viruses that can cause chronic fatigue syndrome, especially for cold sores. It is particularly helpful because it helps stop the viruses from replicating. It essentially stops what they feed off of to replicate. So they reduce uh, the food supply of the virus. It also helps with stress and anxiety regulation, and also helps with boosting your strength with calcium absorption, etc. And there are many, many more supplements, of course, that you can take that could help you with your healing journey. Also, a lot of natural antibiotics that come from herb medicines. However, we're going to leave that for another video. The goal with the supplementation is to bring your energy levels up during the day, lowering your energy levels down at night, and helping you manage your stress and the feelings that activate fight or flight mode in the body that don't help with trying to fall asleep, and that don't allow you to stay asleep and to be well rested during the night. So anything that can help you have a good night's sleep and stay asleep is crucial. Things that boost your immune system to help fight off the viruses, things that help with your gut health, supplements that will not be heavy on your stomach, that won't be too acidic, and that won't eat away at the tissues of your bowels. Anything that can help with the absorption of nutrients from food, and in general with the absorption of the supplement itself, is also very beneficial. Things that calm inflammations down, things that boost the health of your cells, which is crucial because your energy comes from your cells. So when we lift up the energy that the cell can emit, we essentially bring our life force up. Anything that can help calm the brain down, that can clear brain fog, that can help with boosting your memory, boosting your mood is also very, very important. All of these things are what causes symptoms of chronic fatigue. So with all of this supplementation in mind, know that using your brain power, using the power of your imagination, using your soul is a huge part of healing from this illness. And if that is not something that is, let's say, natural for you, or that you gravitate towards, I completely understand that. That is your own prerogative, that is walking through this life, and I'm not here to force you to um, accept any type of what you might deem a nonsensical solution, but you find your own way, and maybe these supplements are a part of your way. But for others who resonate with what I'm talking about, who see the world in this holistic way, that we cannot just divide our physical health from our spiritual health, from our mind. We don't even have to necessarily look at it from a soul perspective, but just from this psychological perspective. Our inner world is very much connected to our outer world and our physical health. So anything that you can do to help reassure your brain, to reassure your mind that you are able to heal, that you are able to absorb the best of these vitamins, the best of these supplements. When you take these supplements, if you decide to take any, visualize how they are penetrating where they're supposed to, how they're healing what they're supposed to, how they're raising your energy levels up. Visualize your mitochondria being like plump, being fed, like going from these little prunes to being like plump and healthy and beaming with energy. Just energize yourself through your own thoughts. Just visualize this light coming through your body thanks to these supplements. If you're taking, let's say, creatine, just imagine while you're drinking it how your muscles are being rejuvenated, how they are expanding, how they are contracting, how they are so strong, they are healing, they are helping you like walk and run, have so much energy to push through with ease, like sprint through your day with like the energy of a child. Like anything you do, whenever you can, remember to think of it in the most positive, magical way, even if you don't feel like it, even if you're essentially lying to yourself in the beginning about it. You can push through that with repetition, because if it becomes something that you're accustomed to, you'll start believing it if you allow yourself to. If you're constantly thinking that you're lying to yourself, like let's say you're not feeling well, but you tell yourself, oh, this is going to, like, this supplement that I'm taking is going to just open up everything in me and I'm going to be so amazing. But you know that just taking one supplement won't actually make you feel amazing straight away. If you're concentrating on that realistic conclusion of this thing that you're doing, you're going to stop the magic of life. It doesn't matter, like, what's the worst thing that you can, what's the worst thing that can do if you are a little bit delulu? The Lulu is the Solulu, okay? In combination with, of course, doing something um, that actually does boost your health as well. So it's not a placebo, it is literally a connection of mind and body, like being very mindful of what it is that you're doing. You're not just taking your supplements automatically on autopilot mode. You're taking them with meaning, you're taking them with this sole purpose of healing. And it is a magical thing that you're doing. It's not just a routine. It's not just, oh, I hope I will feel better. I am doing something very intentionally to heal. This is what I am doing. This is a step that I am taking, and I am healing with each step that I take. And I'm opening myself more to this, and I am raising my vibration up I am raising my energy levels. I am in control of my health. My brain can push through this without burning out. It's not pushing through limits that are, you know, set there for a reason. It's pushing through the limits of this unnecessary illness. You don't need your illness anymore. You are ready to be healed. You needed your illness because you needed to slow down. For whatever reason, you needed to slow down. You needed to stop what you were doing and to take a break. Whatever it is that you were doing too much of it. And right now, you need to be grateful for whatever it is that you are able to do. Another amazing way to help with your this process of healing with supplements and with your mind and with these mind exercises is to write down anything that you were able to accomplish during the day. So let's say that you were someone who used to do like 100 tasks in a day, and that it was never enough. No matter how much you did, you always knew that you were going to need to do even more, and it's not enough, and you could do more, and what else needs to be done, and etc. etc. Then you get chronic fatigue syndrome, and now you can't do anything. And now you feel terrible because you are basically not a functioning human anymore, and you are forced to go into total system shutdown. And now anything that you do, you should be proud of yourself that you did it. If you, let's say, had the energy to wash your hair today, write that down and be very, very proud of yourself that you did that. That sounds ridiculous. That sounds like it's not even a task, but it is a task and you did it. You needed to take a chunk of your energy and to push through the pain and the just lack of energy to do this task, and you managed to do it, and that's enough. And you don't need to do anymore, because if you do anymore, you're going to crash so much worse. And every time you crash, you make the illness deeper and deeper. It's like every PEM phase that you go through, you have carved that sucker, the chronic fatigue syndrome, deeper into your being. And we don't need that. The less you can do, the better, honestly. And be proud of days when you don't do absolutely anything. Those days are crucial for you to reset all of your, chaos in your life, to reset all of that, and to allow yourself in the future to be okay with unproductivity. And um, we can work our way up again to doing multiple tasks and to doing actual tasks that people would associate with, actually being productive and not just basic hygiene or whatever. But anything that you do, if you cooked lunch, if you went on a walk, if you had a phone call, if you did a chore, if you played with your kid, whatever it is that you did it, and you should be proud of it, and don't push more than what is comfortable for you. And step by step, we will get there. And with all of that being said, I would like you to leave me in the comments below your suggestions on what other types of videos on this topic would you find helpful to hear about. If you liked this video, please leave a thumbs up. If you're interested in any of the previous videos that I mentioned, I will leave a playlist down below which includes all of these videos if you're interested in checking those out. subscribe if you would like to see more, both content relating to this topic and many other topics, more lighthearted things, also some chit chats, triggers, games, all sorts of things. Just want you to remember that it costs you nothing to believe that you can heal 100% from this, and I truly do believe that you can and that you will. Take your time, don't put pressure on yourself, and let's take it one step at a time. It's like climbing a ladder and also falling occasionally a few steps. But it doesn't matter because our goal is to reach the top, and whatever it takes to get there, just don't be mad at yourself. Take it easy. Know that it takes time. Believe in yourself, and hopefully you have others that believe in you as well. If no one else, know that I do believe in you, and I hope that I could help at least a little bit through these videos. If you would like to contact me personally, you can through my Instagram or through my email, both linked down below in the description. And I will see you in my next video, hopefully. Bye bye.